go into the details on the contract. Go ahead.
Your Honor, the plea agreement includes an adjudication, 7 years of state prison, followed by 10 years of reporting probation. As a condition of probation, the defendant will.
Would you say 10 years probation?
10 years reporting probation. Okay. The defendant will complete the MDSO program. The defendant will not be allowed to have unsupervised contact with children. The defendant will have specific terms regarding where he may work and the ability to wear a uniform. There are additional terms of restitution, of which $5,000 has been agreed to be paid upfront within 24 hours, mailed to the to the victim, and additional restitution to be paid out on a monthly basis once he is out of custody. And that monthly amount is highlighted in the written terms of the plea agreement. Additionally, there will be a stay-away order from victim TS and her mother, which is also mentioned in the plea agreement.
What is the total amount of the restitution?
The total amount of restitution is $25,000.
Okay. All right.
Your Honor, is the defendant's counsel going to be providing probation with the proof of the $5,000 being paid?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Okay, so Mr. Nowak, the terms of the plea agreement are as what the prosecutor just stated, that you are going to be entering a plea of guilty to the 2 counts of aggravated child abuse and 1 count of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. You will be adjudicated guilty, which is a criminal conviction on your record. Do you also understand, sir, that by entering into this plea that it may subject you to involuntary civil commitment proceedings set forth in Florida statutes 394.910 through 394.931. Do you understand everything that I've said thus far?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to also advise you, sir, that you are going to be sentenced to 7 years in state prison, to be followed by 10 years of reporting probation. In addition to any of these special conditions of probation, you will also participate in and successfully complete a mentally disordered sex offender treatment program, that you are also not eligible. Okay, you may, according to the state, you may be eligible for early termination if all of the conditions of your probation have been completed, that you have had no violations of your probation, and that you have not been arrested for any other criminal offense. Is that correct, State?
And to clarify, the terms stated in 5 is there is no prohibition on early termination. However, there is a requirement that any modification to this agreement be agreed by the state and the court.
Okay. All right, sir. Now, with respect to this plea agreement, I have on each page next to defendant's initials MN. Did you in fact affix those initials to each page?
I did.
And have you reviewed each and every component of this plea agreement going through page 1 and through page 4?
I have.
Now it says on page 4, having read the above mentioned terms of this plea agreement and having been advised by my counsel, David Terrace, I, Michael Noak, freely and voluntarily enter into this plea agreement and agree to abide by all terms and conditions of this plea agreement, and agree that failure to comply with any terms or conditions within this agreement constitutes a violation of probation and subjects me to be sentenced to the statutory maximum penalties provided by law for the crimes for which I am now pleading guilty. And then it has a signature over the name Michael Noah. Is that in fact your signature, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. And I am now going to place my signature on this plea agreement, in that I am now going to be ratifying this plea agreement as negotiated between the state of Florida and your attorney. Has anybody, including...
Peace, family. Well, as you know, and as you can see, Michael Novak, aka Brother Polight, is being charged with rape down in Miami. And it's all over the media. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's capitalizing and putting their videos up, and they're going in on certain things, and they're going in on Brother Polight. And some stuff I have to say is really unpopular that I'm going to say today, because Brother Polight was also accused of doing something like this about 5 years ago, and it kind of went under the radar. But this is the issue that I have is not just with Brother Polight. The issue that I have is with the public. You know, in this space that we call the so-called conscious community, you have people like Umar Johnson. You have people like a young Pharaoh. And they come out, and these people, they talk about the black woman being God. And they can speak real well. And they went around, you know, talking about Africa and the energy of the black womb and all this kind of stuff. Telling women, and, you know, just saying stuff that people want to hear and people gravitate towards it. Because in these conscious spaces, a lot of us come from the church. And a lot of us that grew up in the church, we like to hear a great speaker speak. They don't have to put in a lot of work. They don't have to have a lot of actions behind their work. But as long as they can talk good, they can get by. There's what I've seen in these spaces over the years is there's been no accountability. There's been no showing and proving. A lot of these brothers has come into this space. They've made a lot of money. They've made a lot of promises, but never really showed and proved on anything that they've done. But I blame the community because the community never forced them to do it. Now, when you talk about Michael Novak, Brother Polight, we watch his ascension, and I remember him coming up in his debates with Captain Tazariak, his debates with Sarah Seti, his weigh-in that he had with Ali Muhammad here in Philadelphia. As you can see me, I was out there. That was 7 years ago. I was out in the mix. You know, he was wearing his kente cloths and his long, whatever you want to call it, with the unks on it. His wives, you know, they was wearing their little afros, and everybody was pro-black and power to the people and about power, black empowerment, speaking out against the system of capitalism. He was all about that. He was all about health and wellness. He was all about the black woman being God and uplifting the black woman and putting the black woman back on the throne next to the black man. He was all about that. But then at some point in time, there was a shift. And in that shift, you start seeing Polight start to make some type of money. And he went from not just the black woman being his God, but also money is his God. And I remember when he did a video on Sinetta TV not too years back, where he was driving in a Rolls Royce or something. And he said that he has to do this because he has to get this stuff out of his system. You know, he grew up in Brownsville as an Imperial Crip. Remember, he said he was shot in the face. You know, he talked about his mom dying and his father dying and him not knowing his parents like that and all the things that he went through, and he was poor. So when he got to some money, he had to run the streets and go to Hollywood and get all of this stuff out of his system. But yet, when he came into the community as a so-called pro-black. He came into this space as a so-called pro-black, saying that he wrote 84 books, right? And he was considered the golden child. He was going after the Hebrews. He was supposed to have all this knowledge, and people was gravitating towards him. But he had all these different wives, and remember, he came under the Nubians, and we know what the Nubian leader has been accused of. I know that he wasn't found guilty of that in court, but what he was accused of, and he was given a 105-year sentence. But now Polight is arrested and accused of molestation of a girl who he alleged to have, a 14-year-old girl who he's alleged to have took to a hotel and did some things with her where they was able to get a semen sample I'm hearing that it's a legend that he's saying that it's not true. He didn't want to talk about it though. But from all accounts, people like Tasha K, and the story is broken and it's out. But I've been around to watch his ascension for a long time. I've always been a supporter of Sinetta TV and the conscious community. So I seen him when he came in. I seen him when he left. Now he's in Hollywood. You see him with bottles of wine every night. He's drinking, scantily clad women, asses and titties everywhere, all shined up. He's looking drunk. He's looking nothing like he's not teaching or speaking to health and wellness life when every night is a party. Every night is about luxury cars and money. It's not about the development of the community and the development of the minds of the people. Now it's actually acquiescing to the consumerism and capitalism that's been killing our people historically for years. He came in, scammed the community, made money off of you, and then ran right to Hollywood, as you can see here. As you can see here, where he has the woman on a leash, and in the video he's saying, I've always wanted to do some Hollywood shit. And he's humping on a woman's ass, right? Except he traded in his robe with the unks on it for a Versace robe now. He joined the system of he joined the system of capitalism and totally abandoned his message, took his wives with him, added more wives, and he shows all of this stuff right in front of your face, knowing that most of you people are regular 9-to-5 people will never be able to acquire or live that type of life. And the reason why I blame the public, because when you study Sinetta TV, there was thousands of people that came through Sinetta TV. I'm one of them. And what I've noticed in my assessment over the years is, if you do the right thing and you try to live right by God, you try to be a good husband, a good father, a good man, a good person, nobody's going to pay you any attention. Nobody's going to care about that. It's not salacious. If you provide content where you actually stand by your words, you're not going to have no success in YouTube. Unless you're a man in a biracial relationship, or a woman in a biracial relationship or something like that. Female's a little different, but if you're a guy and you're doing the right thing, nobody's going to gravitate towards your message. But if you come on and you talk about the black woman as God, and you begin to speak with authority on that, and you begin to speak about the Pan-African struggle and all these different things, and you don't really show no work, but you just sound good, oh, people, they're going to love you. They're going to love you a long time. But if you look at the pattern of these men, from the young pharaohs to the Umar Johnsons to the Polights, what substance have they shown that really uplifts the family? That really uplift man and woman together? What substance has these people shown that you can see now, where they've done things, that you can say really benefits the community as a whole? Now, some of them come with different attributes, but when it comes to restoring the family, look at their behaviors. I did my video on young Pharaoh. We all know about Umar, but now we're speaking about Polight. We seen, like I said, as I showed you, we seen his ascension. We've seen him, and now we've seen where he's went to. We've seen him with white girls. We've seen him with all these different women, totally going against his message. But this is the thing: is it Sinetta TV's fault, or is it the public's fault? Because you guys make these people important. Y'all blew them up. You chose to blow them up. You chose to make Polight who he is. Polight is nobody without you. The black community needs to reevaluate the people that they choose to follow. The black community needs to reevaluate what they think is decent. The black community itself needs help psychologically. Because we're allergic to positivity. We love drama and trauma. We love things that we think is decent. And we take nigga shit over things that should be normal. And then complain. Y'all made Michael Novak who he was. Michael Novak came in as just a nobody. Trying to debate everybody he can see, he can find. Screaming Dr. York. He came in screaming the Dr. York stuff. He came in right off the back of Natural Tahuti, screaming that the black woman is God. Had all his women with them titties out, everybody looking, all that kind of stuff just to get your attention, just to lure you right to sleep. And once he lured you to sleep, after he scammed everybody off the money, went right to Hollywood on you. And turned up. From Hollywood, he went to Miami and turned up. Everybody went from ashy to shiny and classy. Totally turned their back on the whole message. I'm going to cut this shit short because I'm going to come with a live stream. But I really want y'all to really understand what's happening and what's really going on, man. And when you see people like a Polight or Umar or Pharaoh, are they really the problem? Or is it the public that supports them when we know that these people ain't on the up and up? We create these people. A lot of these people come straight from these other sets, from the black church to these fake ass black power sets and these fake ass the Wahabian sets, and they bring that behavior right into the conscious sector. They bring that behavior right to the conscious sector. So I'm going to cut this shit short, man. As more information come out, we'll play more. But make sure y'all like, subscribe, and share. And it's just time for the community to take accountability. The community needs to take accountability for the people that we allow to speak on our behalf. The community needs to take accountability. So remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.